Let's talk more about this shift in this time of this COVID-19 virus. And I'm going to want to talk specifically to you about communication. So, how has the communication between you and your team members or you and people in your business shifted during this time? For some people, it might have meant that it's just shut down completely because the business or the organization that you work with is no longer allowed to operate at this time, and therefore you find yourself in a space of not working or not having anything to do or not being able to communicate with your team because there's no remote access or things aren't set up for you to do that. You might also have found that your business is operational and yet you've moved from an in-house everybody together environment to all of a sudden working remotely where each of your team members is at home working in a remote environment where there's no longer face-to-face communication. Your communication has shifted primarily to online. And what sort of tools are you using to do that? Do you have the right tools set up? Wikis, places where you can share a lot of information. Do you use SharePoint? Are you using other tools to be able to share knowledge and information? And how's that going? Has everyone adapted to using this online environment and actually sharing what's going on and where they're at with their work? For developers, they might be used to, example, using a lot of the online tools because often they do a lot of sharing as part of their development work in this online environment. And yet other people in areas of the business aren't so used to using online tools as a way of communicating and sharing where they're at, what's happening, issues that they have. So how can you determine with your team members who's comfortable using the online environment and who's not comfortable using the online environment? And I'm guessing you're going to be able to do that by noticing who's sharing information easily and often and who isn't. And so for those people that aren't comfortable using this online environment, what do you need to do to help them get comfortable and to help them come back to being a part of the team and using that online environment and the online tools that are available to share and be a part of the team still during this time of remoteness where people will tend to be working more remotely? How are you at working in this online environment? Have you found it difficult to shift the way that you work from that personal, in person, face to face way to doing things online? Are you sharing enough as to where you're at, what's happening for you, how things are, whether there are issues, whether there are problems you're having? Are you checking in with the team through this manner on a daily basis? Does it mean that you're having a call every day with the team? It's about checking in and seeing, firstly, how you are in this new environment and way of operating, and secondly, how are each of your individual team members? And if anyone's uncomfortable, be that you or your team members, what can you do to bring them on board more in order to communicate in this different way during this shift and change in the way that business is operating during COVID-19? Have a think about it and see if there are ways that you can improve on this communication during this time, because it's still very necessary for you to get your job done as a project leader.